Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Dre and Jay podcast. I'm Dre with my co-host here, Jay.
What's going
How
on?
you doing, sir?
What's going on, everybody? Ready to get into these very
All
heated
right, so
topics.
yeah, so I'm gonna be moderating today, and we're basically gonna kick off this segment by introducing the new news of Deshaun Watson. Apparently, he has reported to Houston's camp. Not only has he reported back to camp, he's still reiterating and letting the team know, hey, I don't want to be here. I want to be traded. So
Right.
we're gonna go ahead and give our opinions and reviews of the updated situation. As you guys know, we did a video a few months ago when news first broke on, the trade rumors, but we really didn't have much to go off of, seeing as though the case was fresh regarding the sexual allegations and stuff like that. So me and Jay are gonna just piggyback off of what we were talking about before and give updated opinions on the matter. So just a quick recap of the Deshaun situation. This started way before this year regarding the trade. It's not just a something that just simultaneously just happened and he just wanted to leave.
hmm
Going back to 2016, um, the general manager at the time, I forgot his name. Thank God that guy was like I think it was Bill O'Brien or
Bill
something like that.
O'Brien, yeah, he was the head
Yeah,
coach and the general manager. Yeah.
in 2019, he basically traded away Houston's future for the next foreseeable future for the next, I think, 5 to 6 seasons by trading for Laramie Tunsil, a former offensive tackle for the Miami Dolphins, who was considered, the best among his position,
hmm
um, going into the draft. Um, he traded for Laramie Tunsil, Kenny Stills, the 2020th fourth round pick, sixth round pick, exchanged for Miami's second round picks. Um, they also sent over Batamosi and the offensive lineman Julius Davenport. Um, Miami ended up winning the trade, even though Davenport was riddled with injuries. Um, we got three first round picks, and what Miami and large did was we flipped those picks. We traded down in the next draft. We gave San Francisco our third pick that we acquired from Houston to the 49ers so that they could get their quarterback of the future, and in turn flipped it for more picks going into next year's 2020 draft. And also we have a first round pick, I believe, for the 2023 draft, along with other picks, second round picks.
Right.
So basically, Houston is in a dilemma now where they've traded away their future, trying to see if they can take that extra push in the playoffs after Deshaun showed what he can be. However, due to controversy between Bill O'Brien and star receiver DeAndre Hopkins, it caused a trade in which many believe Houston got robbed. He basically traded their star receiver, not for a first round pick or a second, not even a third, but a fourth. And that basically set the fuse for Deshaun Watson wanting out. There's no there's no draft picks to, negotiate with other teams for other prospects, and they don't have any picks to put any talent around him. So he's requested a trade. However, you can't just dangle a trade like that with a player like Deshaun Watson, because immediately after there was sex allegations that came out that he sexually assaulted a member of the, I believe it's his massage therapist with the team. And as of May 2021, there's 22 sexual assault allegations, which may potentially put Deshaun Watson on the commissioner's non-exempt list. The non-exempt list is basically saying that a player can be played as if he's on the active roster, but they're asking him not to participate in team activities or play in games while
Mhm.
there's a pending investigation. Um, Based on everything that I've just said leading up to today and leading up to Deshaun Watson coming back up in camp, I'm just asking Wills now, Jay, if it's possible that Deshaun still gets traded before the season.
Um, wow, that was a lot of information to soak in. Um, I think he does. I actually found some pretty interesting news earlier today that if I could pull this up real quick. Mm, so apparently, according to Adam Schefter, he reported, I believe, earlier today that Deshaun Watson's personal QB coach actually came out and said that he expected Watson to be traded by Sunday, which was a Sunday that actually just passed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely firm belief within that organization that he's gonna be out the door very soon. But before you know it, we might wake up tomorrow morning and see Deshaun Watson traded. I actually woke up this morning and saw my phone blowing up with sports news, and I'm like, did this man Watson get traded? And all I saw was, that they're officially taking phone calls. So it's really interesting because there is a lot of shock around the NFL that why hasn't he been put on the NFL exempt list yet? You know, so it's a lot of speculation going on. Do I think that he gets traded before the season? Personally, I do think he will. I feel like the damage is already done. There was reports that came out that said that while Watson, while he came to camp, he was respectful. He did what he had to do, but the kind of demeanor and the kind of vibe that he was giving off during training camp, during the first day of training camp, it gave off the vibe that he didn't want to be there. So, I don't think that it's really good for a team to have, that vibe going on that a player doesn't want to be there and they're still hanging there, and especially a quarterback that's supposed to be the leader of the team. So, to be quite honest, unless the NFL says tomorrow, I mean, if he doesn't get put on the exempt list by tomorrow or within the next 2 days, I don't think it's ever going to happen. And I think it's going to come to the point where he does get traded, I would say probably by the end of the week. I think it's going to happen sooner than a lot of people think. I feel like the damage is already done. He felt like he was somewhat betrayed because he wanted to be a part of the head coaching meetings.
Decision, and they did alienate management did alienate him, and Houston has a track record of basically saying you can't what they say, you can't let the prisoners run the prison or the inmates run the prison, and they have that type of mentality. And even though a job and a corporation, they're not required or forced to let employees engage in business decisions,
Mm-hmm.
but this is your quarterback of the future, and he basically had no say as to where the team was making the turns. And as you can see, based on all of the events that I've listed, they've done a terrible job of acquiring talent around him, as well as shipping away his best weapon with getting nothing in return except for David Johnson and a fourth round pick. So we'll definitely see, like, where it goes. However, my concern with the whole Deshaun Watson thing is, the exempt list. We've seen Roger Goodell do it in the middle of a season where he's like, nah, we want to wait out the investigation. And I feel like a lot of teams don't want to get blindsided. Based on the reports and what you're seeing, what do you think the price is for Deshaun Watson with that whole exempt list thing luring around?
That's a very interesting question. You would think that the fact that the exempt list is hanging around right now, that it'll kind of lower his trade value. But I feel like even though back then it was speculation that the Texans had no interest in trading him, but if they were to, The starting price will be 3 first-round picks. It looks like as of right now, according to credible sources around the league, like the Adam Schefters, the Ian Rappaports, the starting price is still 3 first-round picks. There's been speculation that the Texans actually want a combination of a combination of 5 things. So whether that includes 3 first-round picks and 2 really solid players, this is a young franchise quarterback, all pro quarterback, pro bowler. So, the asking price, they're not really wrong for asking for a high asking price because this is a game changing quarterback, but they're not going to just let this guy leave and get dimes on a dollar for him or so I feel like the asking price right now, you would think that it gets lowered because of the situation right now, the civil situation. But I feel like the Texans are probably going to stand very firm on what the expectation is based on what they want. And I feel like if somebody tries to call them and they says, what's the price for Watson? And they say, hey, we want 3 first-round picks minimum. And if you can't offer, if we can't start there, then I'm going to hang up the phone. And I feel like that's
they have no choice because if they even want to have a chance of competing this year or, moving around pieces for the future, like they have to at least get something back after all the damage that was done by Bill O'Brien. Like that's obvious. I understand that. But the thing is, I even said it back then, although they want to trade him, they really can't afford to. You don't think that there's any way that they can like reconcile regarding the matter?
I think, look, I know this is gonna turn some heads, and we talked about this earlier, but I think the damage is already done. And to be quite honest with you, I feel I don't want to really deter this conversation too much with what I'm about to say. You probably already know what I'm going to say, but I feel like low key Deshaun Watson was set up by the Texans. I feel like this like it may sound funny, but I honestly feel like the Texans. I feel like
that's
the
a
Texans.
harsh allegation.
I
You
feel
gonna
like
have
the
the
Texans.
FBI knocking down at your door about that?
I feel like the Texans set him up. I really do. And I feel like their whole mindset was, if you're not playing for me, you ain't playing for nobody. You gonna either play for us or you gonna rot in jail or rot wherever. And
But
I
that's
feel
an
like
extreme take. Imagine, and I know these guys aren't regular workers. They're public figures and professional athletes. But I don't understand. Playing devil's advocate, why would Houston do that? Like, if you're an employer and you have a guy that comes into work one day, like, I don't want to be here causing a ruckus. Your first instinct as a boss or an employer is like, okay, I don't want anybody on my team or nobody on my roster that doesn't want to be here. But
that's
like you said before, it does sound a bit fishy because the asking price for a quarterback of that level, there are teams that are going to try to lowball you automatically, or there's teams that are going to try to say, I really don't want to. I really
yeah,
don't. We really can't afford him, so it just makes sense to lower the
yeah.
trade value.
I feel like teams will try to lowball them and be like, look, man, I know you guys want 3 first-round picks, but he's still going on in this civil situation. We don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah, so
What you thinking about? Maybe 2 first-round picks and maybe this player, and who knows? Houston could be saying, okay, keep talking, or they could be saying, okay, bye-bye, and hang up the phone. We don't really know. But I feel like the damage is already done. There's no turning back. Like I said, I know it's a bull take to say that, but I feel like the Texans set him up. I feel like, but I get where you're coming from, where you say right off the jump, a lot of people, a coach or a front office will say, oh, this guy doesn't want to be here. We need to look for the first ticket out the door. No, man. If you have a quarterback like this, Deshaun Watson, same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Now, Deshaun Watson is not on Aaron Rodgers' level, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna understand where I'm going with this. They're gonna try to do everything they can to keep that guy under wraps. So they're gonna sit him down and say, "Hey, what's going on? Is this a fixable problem?" They're gonna try to do everything they can. Of course, it's just
They
like
should have did that 2 off seasons ago.
they're gonna try to
They
do
gave him the
everything they
chance.
can. I feel
He
like
gave
the
him the
last I
chance.
feel like the last straw was when he felt like he should be a big part of the new head coach hire. And when they didn't really include him in that, I think that he felt that was the last straw and he wanted out. So I don't think that this is something that can be reconciled. I feel like the damage is already done. There was something I wanted to say earlier before I forget. Since you said that now that Houston is going to be more aggressive in terms of trying to get back what they lost, according to multiple sources right now, the biggest teams that are really the teams that are speculated to be the most interested in him right now is the Dolphins, the Eagles, and the Broncos. Now, the Dolphins finessed them a couple years back, so you best believe if the Dolphins are even calling the Texans are not getting lowballed by the Dolphins. They're going to try to recoup every single thing
Of course, so
back
you know why?
and more and more.
You know why? Those draft picks that we finessed out of them, they're still gonna be. They were a factor in the last draft because, like I said, San Francisco paid a price for their quarterback of the future. They retched up to get him, even though they say to Jimmy G, "Oh, you're still our guy." Come on, we traded back, got more assets that we can use in the next draft, and it's also potential that the Dolphins could possibly push back again. If we like what we see this season, we may push back again and use the first round pick to flip it and get more assets. So those draft picks are still in play going into 2022 and 2023. So of course they're desperate. They're gonna try to recruit all those losses because for the next 3 drafts, they basically have to sit and watch their draft picks being used to shift the league, and they have no say in the matter.
So, what do you think the asking price is for right now for him?
Right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Because of that exemption list, and I really don't trust Roger Goodell. He's really, really harsh when it comes to these situations. I say the asking price no more than 2 first round picks, and you're probably gonna have to give up a perennial piece on your team. You're probably gonna
So,
have to shop a perennial piece or a couple of pieces on your team to get Deshaun Watson.
So okay? So when you say 2 first round picks, do you mean 2 first round picks from a contender or 2 first round picks from a team that's trash? Because you know that the values are different. Like if you
I
get
don't think
if you get 3 first round picks from the Jaguars, that's different from getting 3 first round picks from like the Seahawks. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like it's gonna be 3 first round picks no matter what. And if you're a team that's really bad, like I don't know, let's say what's a team? Let's say the Falcons were interested in him since like their record really hasn't been good too many years. If they let's say I don't know, let's say they end up with the fifth overall next year. That could be your 2 first round picks that's included in that deal. So you could automatically just maybe add in one more first and maybe a player and get it done. It all kind of depends on where Houston thinks that team is projected to go. So a team like the Dolphins, which most team would probably think is a borderline contender for the playoffs, they might try to get more from the Dolphins. And on top of that, the fact that we finessed them earlier. So I feel like 3 first round picks really is the basis. I don't think they're going any lower than that, honestly.
yeah, and in my opinion, before we
Unless you could get an elite player in that package. So
and one of my hot takes from before we wrap this up, I feel like the Dolphins are not in true conversation with the Houston Texans because of the trade that happened just recently, with Larry Tunsil. Um and the Dolphins going, pushing, we're elevating ourselves to to the fact where we're trying to build that defense even more, make sure that we have the pieces and the assets. We have a young quarterback. I don't think the Dolphins going 10-6 last season. I don't think we do anything that's going to be detrimental for Deshaun Watson, because somewhere you know our team believes, even though I don't believe in Tua, I think that they believe in Tua, and they don't give up so many weapons for Deshaun Watson, especially with the non-exemption, the exemption list
So let
looming
me
around.
ask you this, because I actually disagree with you on that. I actually do believe in Tua, and I believe that he's going to turn the corner. But I have to disagree with you on that, because there's been a lot of speculation the past couple of months that the Dolphins were one of the front runners in Deshaun Watson, because Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause, so he controls where he goes. It's not like the Texans can say, "Oh, you're going to the Jaguars to die." Let's say they didn't have Trevor Lawrence or something like that. It's not like they could do that. He has the say on where he goes. So I feel like that's not really true in terms of the Dolphins case, because all the speculation that the Dolphins don't really want to wait for Tua to progress because they feel like the team they have around him supposedly is in win now mode. I feel like all the Dolphins had to do to end all the speculation that they don't believe in Tua is all they had to do is every time, because there was plenty of questions going into the draft. They were asking Brian Flores, are you guys interested in training for Deshaun Watson and that stuff like that? And he would always say, "Oh well, we currently believe in Tua. Tua is the quarterback on our roster." The easiest way that he could have ended all of that is by simply saying, "We are not entertaining trading for Deshaun Watson. We are only interested in the players that we have on our team right now." But they never came out and said that. They could
It's
have
sort of
ended.
like,
Think
yeah,
about
it's
it.
sort of like
Think
with
about it.
it's sort of like when they got the 49ers got Trey Lance. Like, how do you trade up in a draft to get a QB? You trade up to third, and then you third back to Jimmy G. Oh, by the way, bro, you're still our quarterback. You're still our
Like,
future.
that's what I'm saying. If the Dolphins weren't interested in Deshaun Watson, they could have put that to bed a long time ago. Now they could come out. Now they could come out and lie and say we're not interested in him, and then they could turn around 2 days later and say, "Oh, we're interested in him now. So now we're going to trade for him." Like
That's a
teams
Bill
do it.
Belichick. That's
Team,
a Bill
team,
Belichick
teams,
move.
teams do that all the time, where they say we're not interested in training a player, and then
And they
two
be the
days later,
main ones blowing that. They be
and
the
then
main
two
ones
days.
on the phone. Hey, bro, come on, bro. Bro, three
And
first-round picks.
and then 2 days later they trade them. So I feel like they could have put that to rest a long time ago, but they haven't, because deep down they're making offers for him. I really and truly believe they've already made an offer to him. I
The
believe that.
thing is, the thing is, we can't just ignore the elephant in the room, Jamar. I understand what you're saying, but no team wants to gut their entire future for a guy that potentially might not play this season. And although there's civil cases, the NFL has made it clear any investigations of this nature and the number of allegations that there are, like, you can't ignore it. Roger Goodell has every right to just simply pull that card and say, "Hey, nope, you're not playing."
So okay, so let me ask you this. If I'm not mistaken, I think the NFL started the investigation in this in April? I don't
I
really
believe so,
know.
April.
But if it was April, why haven't they put him on the exempt list yet? Doesn't that kind of raise a red flag? Like, okay, does the NFL think they don't have enough evidence, or like enough evidence to even make this a thing, or do they already have enough evidence that the rest of the public doesn't know about, and the NFL is like, bro, this is nothing. We're not even gonna pay attention to this. Like, I there was some news that came out a couple of days ago that the NFL was interviewing some of the accusers, and the accusers stopped cooperating with the NFL because they felt like the questions they were being asked were disrespectful. So I mean, it's crazy. Like, I feel like if they were gonna put this man on the exempt list, they should have done it a long time ago. Why? I mean, but I don't even think the NFL would allow a trade if they knew, okay, we might put him on the exempt list, we might not. I don't think.
Understood. That would be a bad. You're
I
right.
don't
You
even
actually
think.
won me over with that. That would
I
be a bad look for the NFL if they were to know that there's a potential that he might not play, and then have teams bidding their entire futures
That's what
for
I'm
a guy.
saying. Like, it's
Yeah.
actually going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. If somebody actually does pull the trigger, is the NFL going to jump in and say, no, 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 he ain't
As a
going
Dolphins
nowhere?
fan, bro, if we trade for him, we need him like in training camp immediately and starting. I want him under center week 1, bro.
Bro, my stance is sorry about that. My stance is that I believe that Tua is going to be the guy. But if I have an opportunity to upgrade at any position, if the price is right, don't get me wrong, then I'm going to pull the trigger. If Deshaun Watson is in a Miami Dolphin uniform, I'm saying go Dolphins. Good luck,
You
Tua.
hear that too? You hear
Good
that
luck.
too, bro?
Good
I
luck,
thought
Tua.
Tua was your guy.
Good luck. Listen, man. The Dolphin. Listen. The team is more important than one individual players. I'm
I keep
always
trying to
gonna
tell
be
you
like
that,
that.
bro.
So I mean, you don't have to tell me that. Just because I say that I support Tua and I want him to turn out to be that guy, that doesn't mean that I think that he's above and beyond the team. I'm not one of
Hmm.
those guys that try to ruin the reputation of the other players to make him look better, which is what a lot of Dolphins fans do. But I mean, if he ends up in a Dolphins uniform tomorrow, I'm saying good luck to her, but hello Deshaun Watson, and I'm cheering. So, like I said, whatever is best for the team, I'm with it. I might be. A lot of people will probably be disappointed because they want to see us draft a quarterback and he actually grows to be that guy. But hey, man, if you have an opportunity to upgrade the position, especially the quarterback position, pull the trigger, man. If it's at the right price, pull the trigger. So I'm not one of those cats that's gonna be like, no, you traded to her. But like, you got Deshaun Watson. You got to arguably a top 5 quarterback in the league. So I mean, I don't want to really go into the making it a Dolphins thing, because we're talking about Deshaun Watson's situation. But I mean, that's kind of my stance on that. But I mean, do you have anything else that you want to add on?
Nah, that's about it. Let's see where this goes, and we're gonna be giving weekly updates on the situation as it pertains. The season is starting, and they have to make a move fast, or else we're just gonna see a quarterback under center that we all know doesn't want to play. It's gonna be kind of awkward watching Texans games.
Bro, he's gonna be out. He's gonna be out of Houston by the end of the week. I'm putting that's my bold take right there.
All right.
He doesn't last the rest of the week in Houston. Like, the damage is done. You can't. It's irreversible.
Yeah, the damage is done, and they know that the employee doesn't want to be there. But it's like, bruh, the Texans have to feel like, oh my God, we have all these assets. We could probably flip it and make something shake. And it's going to take one of those deals where it's just like that other team is going to look desperate. And it's like, I understand, yes, he's going to want to be traded to a contender, a team of his choice. But it's like, what's the asking price? That's all the concern is.
It's 3 first-round picks, and if they want to top it off with more, then they'll probably do that. But I feel like 3 first-round picks is that's like the starting price, in my opinion. Like I said,
All
if
right.
it's a team like the Broncos that is going to have a lower pick, maybe the asking price might be 2 first-round picks. But I think the basis is 3. So that's my stance. I don't think that's going to change.
All right. Well, this is another episode of Dre and Jay, discussing Deshaun Watson. Please let us know what you guys think in the comment section. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.
All right, deuces.
This is